Welcome back. It's another Creaky Bloody Gamers battle report. Let's get on with it.
Okay, g'day viewers. It's my first battle report from Castle Assault 2024. So we had about 50 odd players, I think, at the start. And then maybe a few dropouts, and then it was a bit of a drinking weekend, so we lost a couple more on the Sunday, I think. But being old and creaky, I didn't participate in the drinking games here. But it looks like they had a good time, so good on them. But I felt better on the Sunday for not partaking. Anyway, here are some of my favourite armies as I went around the room during the painting display business. I don't know what that is. That looks like a demon army there, maybe corn demons. So I've got a corn demon army that I could rebase from 40k, because I'm never going to play that again, I don't think. And there's some of my favourite armies always includes the Orcs and Goblins, so that's a nice one there. And here's, I think this is a troll army with one of those giant giants, and plenty of river trolls. I think I've got some of those 3D printed river trolls there, and there's some, looks like some wood elves maybe, and some Bretonians on a box. So there were some nicely painted armies. There were a couple of unpainted ones as well, but and this is a wood elf army. I think this army came second. So, and there's another old Troy's Orcs and Goblins. I'd like to see the old goblin chariots. I think he ran the nomadic warg. Anyway, into round one, and I'm facing dwarves. Spoiler alert, out of 5 games I play 3 dwarves. So you're sick of seeing dwarves on the channel, I apologise. Anyway, on with round one. Let's have a look at my army again, just to recap what's been going on. So I've still got my big unit of Black Orcs with the war banner. I painted them up a new big war banner, so they... spoiler alert, I wish I'd give them the red raggedy banner. 2 units of 30 night goblins with short bows. A couple of bolt throwers. And my doom divers up the back there. So a little bit of shooting, long range shooting to keep them honest. The Great Keef, I've made him more defensive now because he can't fight his way out of a wet paper bag really. He's got trollhide trousers and the talisman of protection. He can't really take on anything big. He looks like a dragon, but it's not a dragon. There's some more short bows and fanatics in each one of those units. There's my level 4 shaman. He's got the lore familiar. There's my little goblin war boss, a big boss, just a big boss with a great weapon and the ruby ring, and a level 2 there. And my 3 chariots with, I've managed to fit an extra crew on them. And that's it. 2,000 points.
Let's go. Turn 1.
Okay, so round 1 we're up against dwarves, and you'll sense a bit of a theme because 3 out of the 5 games this week I faced dwarves. Different varieties, but 3 dwarves. So he's got a king, a thane and a runesmith, and I think he puts all those guys in the one unit of hammerers or something. He's got multiple units of warriors, 15 and 15 and 10. He's got a couple of gyrocopters and a couple of bolt throwers. Hammerers there. He's got some miners that'll come up behind me, and some slayers, and an organ gun. So there's a lot in the army. Lots of small units, which is different to some of the other armies I'll face. And a couple of bolt throwers. That'll be interesting versus my 2 bolt throwers. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, so king, a thane and a runesmith. And there's the layout. He's got a strong centre there. I think he's got all his characters in one unit next to the organ gun. He's got these thunderers up on the hill here. It's a bit of a rocky hill, so I told him just to put one guy up there to show where they are. So I'm going to try and attack that left flank where the thunderers are. And out on this flank, he's got his slayers way out there and a couple of bolt throwers on that hill. And I've just got some night goblins in a chariot on that flank. So I've sort of weighted this flank. And there we go, turn 1. He fires both his bolt throwers at my chariot. And both hit and both wound. And I lose a chariot on turn 1. So bolt throwers. Spoiler alert, his bolt throwers don't hit anything else all game. Just on turn 1, he got both hits. On this flank, his Thunderers are on the hill, so I'm going to attack that hill and try and get rid of the Thunderers. That's my plan. He's got a strong centre here with all these characters in that unit, I think, protected by the organ gun. And I'm still crying about my chariot being destroyed.
Turn 2.
Alright, so Dwarves turn 2. They bring on the miners behind the war machines. The Thunderers up on the hill are doing a bit of shooting. Yeah, so you can see the miners have come on behind me there, so we have to do something about that. And then he's just shuffling around, hoping we're going to come into this trap in the middle, but my chariot there is hiding behind the hill. And then in my turn, I decide to charge up the hill. Remember, the Thunderers are up on the hill there. They stand and shoot and do a couple of wounds to my chariot. The chariot fails the charge, but the Great Keef makes it in, so he's going to beat up a few Thunderers and push them back off the hill. And then in my turn, I have to do something about those Thunderers, and so I turn around, turn the Black Orcs around, and that's the stand and shoot there. So I put everything into the miners, and 2 of them survive. So 2 of the miners will survive a pillar of fire and a bunch of magic missiles into them, and some short bow shots from the Night Goblins. And 2 of his miners will get into one of the Doom Divers. So the Great Keef pushed the Thunderers back off the hill. He's just where that line is on the hill. My chariot took a couple of wounds from the stand and shoot, and he failed his charge. And I threw everything, a pillar of fire, magic missiles, into the miners that were there, and they've just charged into that Doom Diver.
Turn 3.
Okay, so this is a summary of turn 3. So yeah, it's turn 3. So this hill in the middle is sort of dominating things, and I've had to been doing some shots here and there with a couple of bolt throwers, not hitting anything, and my Doom Diver did lob himself over and did a couple of wounds to his organ gun with an indirect shot, and then luckily enough for me, his organ gun misfired and lost its last wound. This chariot's just going backwards and forwards, and because no one wants to come over that hill and get shot by my dangerous bolt throwers who don't hit anything. My chariot that's wounded did a suicide charge here into some warriors just to stop them. The Great Keef is just swivelling around on the hill to threaten some of these warriors, and these Night Goblins are moving up to maybe release their fanatics into something juicy. This gyrocopter is flaming and dropping bombs on things. These Night Goblins are shuffling across this way because they've lost their chariot support and they're getting chased by a gyrocopter.
Turn 4.
Okay, so we're into turn 4. So that there was a gyrocopter behind those Night Goblins, so I had to release the Night Goblins out the back to get rid of that gyrocopter. My remaining Doom Dive, I've lost one of them to his miners. This one misfired, took a wound, but he did good work getting rid of a couple of wounds off the organ gun earlier on. And then that chariot fighting those warriors is going to break, and those warriors are going to overrun into the Great Keef on the hill. He's got some warriors heading towards my Night Goblins there, and so there's going to be a battle on the hill. Yeah, so in the end, I think this is his King's Yin. All these characters are in there, and I put fanatics through them. His warriors there killed the chariot and overran into the Great Keef, and his Great Keef's taken a wound or something from the Thunderer shooting. So there's a bit of a fight going on here. Night Goblins versus, I think they're Hammerers, with all these best characters in there. They're all in there. And those guys, they take a lot of wounds from the fanatics. And in the end, they beat up these goblins and they run away. They rolled an 11 and they run off. So I was doing well with those Night Goblins, but it was too much for them. So the Dwarves are going to win that combat on the hill. The Great Keef's going to beat up that unit on the hill. And that's pretty much towards the end of the game. We're getting close now.
Turn 5.
Alright, so we're into turn 5, and the Black Orcs are still shuffling around, protecting the Shaman from that gyrocopter. My Night Goblins out here have had to turn to face the warriors, and there's one Slayer left. I've been shooting him with short bows and a magic missile, and there's one Slayer left, and that one Slayer is going to get away and live to tell the tale of what happened here. So my Night Goblins are facing off against the Warriors there, I think, because that Slayer's going to run away. Their fanatics have crashed into the hill there and died, but they got rid of the gyrocopter. So, you know, we've killed a gyrocopter. I think the Great Keith takes care of the Thunderers in the end, and his King's unit, there's only a couple of them left surviving, but all his characters are okay, have finished off the Night Goblins. So the Dwarves have taken that hill. Yes, I lost those Night Goblins, and the Black Orcs aren't earning their pay. I haven't been aggressive enough with them, but they did turn around to... I was a bit worried about what I could do about the miners, and they're protecting the shaman in there, so that's pretty much it.
Final round, turn 6.
My champion will issue a challenge. I'll accept it. Champion on champion, yeah. Okay, yeah, well, just a highlight from turn 6. There's pretty much not much else is going to happen in this battle, and so for a bit of fun, my Night Goblins decide to fight these warriors. And I issue a challenge with my champion, and over a couple of turns, a couple of rounds of turn 6, my champion actually beats the dwarf warrior over the head with his short bow. Some good rolling and some bad rolling from the dwarves, and these Night Goblins are going to beat up the warriors. Not bad, eh? And anyway, they didn't break them, but they did push them back, and nothing decisive happened there, but it was a bit of fun. The champion, Night Goblin champion, because he hates dwarves. That was good. Yeah, Night Goblins hate dwarves. Anyway, so that's pretty much the sum of it all. We couldn't get rid of the King's unit, which is up on the hill. And the Great Keith finished off the Thunderers, I think. And the Black Orcs did nothing all game except turn around and get stuck in bad positions. And, you know, he's lost the organ gun and a couple of units. And I've lost some Night Goblins and a... Doom Diver and a couple of units, things like that. So, bit of an indecisive battle, which is probably what you expect versus dwarves anyway. Neither side was able to strike the killer blow. Okay, so I just found my sheet here, and I lost 637 points of stuff. So that was a couple of chariots and a unit of Night Goblins and a Doom Diver. That's about it, pretty much, I think. And then he lost 765. And then he got a couple of bonus points because he captured one of my standards from those silly Night Goblins that rolled an 11 and ran away. And then we both got an extra bonus point for something. I can't remember. There was a couple of bonus point things in it. So it ended up being a 9-9 draw. So you'll sense a theme there. Playing against dwarves, it's hard to get much more than the old 9-9 draw or something like that. Rules-wise, I don't think I made any mistakes in this battle. I think I learned a few rules. Pretty much every game you play, I learn a new rule. I'll learn something I'm playing wrong. You know, for example, you know, reserves coming on in the compulsory movement phase, not the normal movement phase. I think just basic things. Anyway, I'm always open to learning something I'm playing wrong. But in this one, I think he'd only played a couple of games of Old World, so he had some old rules stuck in his head, and like War Machine crews and so on. They're being combined profiles now. That's how his organ gun had 2 wounds, and then he lost a crew with a misfire. So that was the end of it, because they've only got 3 wounds or something. Anyway, yeah, that's all right. I should have probably been more careful with the miners, but I just thought, oh, I'll just deploy and the miners will come up behind me, then I'll turn around and deal with them. So I should have probably played that a bit better. But the hills were sort of put me off, and I spread my deployment out. I should have advanced with the Black Orcs, with the Night Goblins on either side. That was my plan, but you know, first game, you don't know what you're doing. It's actually about 5 games with an army to work out how to play it properly, as we maybe see over the course of the weekend. But anyway, that's round 1 of Castle Assault down. A draw versus the Dwarves, and so stay tuned for round 2. Let me know what you reckon, and I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye for now.
Thanks for watching another Creaker Gamers episode. I hope it wasn't too bad. Please like and subscribe. Just do it.